Hi, my name is Greg Martin, and this is my wife, Susan, wife for 40 years, and this is my story. My story starts about 8 years old, where I got my first motorcycle, having the best fun of your life, riding motorcycles with friends, family, and then it grew. It grew to competing with them, racing motocross. Susan and I were high school sweethearts. We have a background, both of us have a background of being in church and in our teenage years. So, we knew about God, but we didn't put total faith and reconciliation in Christ for the most part. We would come and go when it was convenient, but God was pursuing us the whole time. After being married for 2 years, I decided to get back into the motocross racing. And she was along with me from time to time. And one Saturday morning, November the 1st, 1986, me and a friend was going to practice at a track that was unfamiliar. On first lap, went around checking things out. And then the second lap, I come up to a double jump and I backed off the throttle. The second mound I crashed on. Nothing really out of the ordinary, but I think what happened was my chest flexed against the tank and it threw me over. So then the next thing I remember is being loaded up in an ambulance and headed to Winston-Salem to the ER. The big lights that's in an emergency room was just overbearing, and the doctors come in with the news. Mr. Martin, you are paralyzed. Your T6, T7 of your spine. With a loud voice, I can just reflect of him saying that, and I'm like, well, what does that mean? So mid-chest for me, down, I have no feeling or sensory, motor skills or anything like that. So that required surgery, and they put 2 stainless steel rods beside my spine, and after 21 days in the hospital, 75 days would be next in the rehab of learning how to live from a wheelchair. And that's when I said, I cannot go through this on my own. I need your help. And at that moment, a level of peace come over me, as it states in Philippians 4:7 that a peace that surpasses all understanding come upon me. I met Jesus that day. I know I met Jesus that day. I've always heard about him, went to church most of my life, but this is the day that I met God.
When I got the word about the accident, I too turned to God, because I knew that I couldn't do this and we couldn't do this on our own, that we had to have some help. And he was the only one that could help us. And he had his hand in everything from that point forward.
After 21 days in the hospital, 2.5 months in rehab, I finally was able to go home. Unbeknownst to me that the plant manager of where I worked at Sandvik here in Mebane, he had been working with vocational rehab and occupational rehab to get me back to work as a machinist. And they worked to get me a stand-up wheelchair where I could still do my job as a machinist.
And provide for us. We moved into a new house in 1990 that was more handicap accessible. Didn't think we could have any children, but God had another plan. I had prayed that he would fill our house up, and he did. And my doctor at the time this is God, he went to a conference and met a urologist in Chapel Hill that was able to work with us, and we were able to have children. We had twins.
She told me that I was going to be a father of two. Words cannot really express the joy that I had. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that all things work to the good for those who love God and who have been called according to his purpose." And I feel like that's my purpose in life, is because God has given me that and pushed us forward. I look back and I see how I kind of adopted James 1, verse 2 through 4, when it says, "Count it all joy, because we have many trials." And what does the trials do? It makes us stronger. It makes us persevere. It also says that it makes us complete. It makes us mature, lacking nothing. And then to look back on it and have what we have today. We have things because God has allowed us to have these things. Blessings after blessings. Love to see transformed life.